Your partner just asked, why does the team have everyone back except one striker? And honestly, that's a great question. The World Cup is a tactical chess match, and the 2026 tournament has given us some of the most fascinating trends we've ever seen. First, the classic 4-4-2 formation, think early 2000s Premier League, is back in a big way. Brazil, Morocco, Japan, and Ivory Coast have all used it to stay compact in a mid-block, especially because the heat and humidity make full-game pressing impossible. But here's the catch, 12 teams used 4-4-2 and only 2 won with it, because those flat lines leave huge gaps for diagonal passes. And that's where diagonal play comes in. Teams are attacking out to in and in to out, exploiting the space between the lines with angled passes that 4-4-2 struggles to defend. Morocco's winning goal against Brazil came exactly this way, with Mazraoui finding his attacking midfielder from a wide area into a central space. At the same time, false nines are having a moment. Strikers like Morocco's Saibari, Germany's Havertz, and Mexico's Jimenez are dropping deep into midfield, dragging defenders with them and creating chaos. If centre-backs follow, space opens up behind them. If they don't, the false nine creates an overload in midfield. It's a lose-lose for defenders. Meanwhile, teams like the USA under Mauricio Pochettino are making midfielders more fluid than ever before. Instead of rigid positions, for players roam freely, playing close together in tight spaces to draw opponents in before releasing quick passes for runners in behind. Pochettino's men looked like a 4-2-3-1 on paper, but in possession it was a back three with a box of 4 midfielders who switched roles constantly, leaving Paraguay's zonal defense completely confused. But wait, it gets even weirder. Some teams are literally kicking the ball out of play on purpose from kickoff. The USA, Qatar, and Morocco have all done it, a tactic copied from PSG that involves passing back and then blasting the ball straight out for a throw-in near the opponent's corner flag. The idea? Pin the opponent's back, press them immediately, and force a turnover in a dangerous area. It's all about territory over possession, a massive shift from the 2010 World Cup where everyone obsessed over keeping the ball. Now, high-intensity pressing and forcing mistakes are the new religion. Underdogs are using this shift to their advantage too. Cape Verde drew Spain by refusing to take the bait when Spain tried to entice them out, keeping a compact 4-5-1 shape that gave up no space between the lines. Their PPDA, passes per defensive action, was a staggering 51.2, meaning they barely pressed at all, and it worked. Ghana did the same against England, with a PPDA of 62 in the first 15 minutes. The lesson? Don't chase the ball if you don't have to. But when underdogs do press, they do it smartly. South Africa took 14 shots against South Korea with only 31% possession by playing short from goal kicks, attracting pressure, then chipping it into clusters of players in space. Of course, this risky approach can backfire. South Africa conceded from losing the ball in dangerous areas, but they also scored the goal that sent them through. Building from the back has become a central theme, with France dropping Rabiot between centre-backs to form a back three in possession, and Canada's Richie Laryea inverting into the inside channel to create overloads in midfield. And on set pieces, teams are borrowing Premier League tricks. Czech Republic scored from a long throw, Germany and Bosnia from corners, and near-post flick-ons are the new weapon of choice. Now let's talk about the most subtle but game-changing tactical trend of this tournament, the death of the traditional fullback. Forget the days of Gary Neville just staying wide and crossing. In 2026, fullbacks are practically midfielders. Take Canada's Richie Laryea, who inverts into the inside channel to create overloads in central areas while his winger stays wide. Or look at France's Theo Hernandez, who pushes so high he's practically a winger, leaving Adrien Rabiot to drop between the centre-backs and form a back three during possession. This constant shifting means teams build with 3 at the back, but attack with 5 or 6 players, and the numbers game is brutal for opponents. If you're playing against this system and you stick with your rigid 4-4-2, you're outnumbered in midfield. If you try to match them, you leave space in behind. That's why build-up play has become an art form this tournament. Teams are playing out from the back even when they're underdogs, because they know that attracting a high press is the quickest way to bypass it. South Africa proved this perfectly. They invited South Korea's press by playing short goal kicks, waited for the gap to open, and then chipped it into clusters of players in space. The result? 14 shots from only 31% possession. The risk is real. Losing the ball in your own third is a nightmare, but the reward is even greater. And the teams that are winning aren't the ones who keep possession, they're the ones who know exactly when to build and when to go direct. It's controlled chaos, and it's beautiful to watch. But here's the secret sauce that ties all these trends together: pressing triggers. In 2026, teams don't press just because they're tired or bored, they press with purpose, at specific moments, based on specific cues. The most common trigger? A bad touch. Watch any match and you'll see, the moment a defender takes a heavy touch, 3 players swarm him like sharks. Another trigger is the backward pass to the goalkeeper. As soon as the keeper receives it, the opposition striker sprints to cut off the passing angle, while wingers press the fullbacks and midfielders block the center. It's coordinated, it's intense, and it's exhausting. That's why teams like Cape Verde and Ghana choose not to press for 90 minutes, they pick their moments. They sit in a compact mid-block, let the opponent pass it sideways for 10 minutes, and then suddenly, a trigger happens, and they spring into action. The transition from defense to attack happens in 3 seconds flat, a tackle, a quick forward pass, and suddenly it's 3 versus 2. This is where the chaos of 2026 really shines. Transitions are more dangerous than possession. Goals aren't coming from 20 pass moves anymore, they're coming from a turnover in midfield, a diagonal ball to the winger, a cutback to the false 9, and a goal. It's fast, it's frantic, and it's thrilling. And the teams that can't handle the transition, the ones with slow center backs or midfielders who can't track runners, are the ones already on planes home. That's why Sweden's 5-3-2 failed. 3 midfielders couldn't cover the width when Netherlands switched play, and the transitions were too quick. It's not about having the ball, it's about what you do when you don't have it. Subtle blocking at the near post prevents defenders from recovering, and attackers are finding themselves free as front post defenders move toward the ball. The set-piece coaches have been busy. Now, if you're trying to keep up with all the formations, here's a cheat sheet from the tournament so far. The 4-2-3-1 has been the most successful. USA, England, France, and Austria all won with it, thanks to 2 holding midfielders protecting the defense and 3 attacking midfielders pushing forward. The 4-1-2-3, with only 1 defensive midfielder, also delivered wins for Mexico, Norway, Ghana, and Colombia. The classic 4-3-3 helped Argentina win 3-0, with Messi scoring a hat-trick, while the 3-4-3 gave South Korea and Germany success. Germany even scored 7 goals with it. For more defensive setups, 5-4-1 helped Australia beat Turkey, and Sweden's 3-4-1-2 delivered a 5-1 thrashing of Tunisia. But the big picture? Football is evolving away from pure possession toward territory, pressure, and fluid movement. The 2026 World Cup is a tactical laboratory, and these trends are reshaping how the game is played. So the next time your partner asks why a team's formation looks like a phone number, you can explain that it's all about covering width, exploiting gaps, and forcing the opponent into a game they don't want to play. If this Stickman made you finally understand 2026 tactics, hit that like button. It helps me make more videos like this. Subscribe if you want to learn the offside rule, VAR, and even more football tactics in this simple way. Share this with someone who's confused by formations, they'll seriously thank you later. Stickman out. Next video, the offside rule explained for your partner. See you on the other side.